morning, everybody. Listen to the birds. It's probably a little bit before 6 o'clock. Sun hasn't come up yet, but the birds are very active, as you can hear them. And when you're gardening, you need to get out in the morning and water your stuff before the sun comes up. Especially on days like today, expected to be in the 90s. No rain today. So I need to make sure my soil is nice and moist so it doesn't evaporate all the moisture away during the course of the day when it gets up in those 90s. And of course you want to make sure you're watering down at the base of your plant, not up at the top where the leaves are, but down at the base so it can get to the roots. See, when you're making something move, a lot of times you got to beat the sun up because you can get a lot done before the sun comes up. And of course I got to work today, so I'm out here getting this done before I go to work. What are you going to do today? What do you have planned today? Did you get anything planted yesterday? I've been challenging you since Friday to get something in the ground. Every day that goes by, it's another day that you and your family might be hungry come this fall and winter if you're not getting anything planted in the ground. And you can also come out and enjoy the peaceful sounds of nature. Say the early bird gets the worm because the birds are active in the morning. You hear them. Sounds like a bird sanctuary out here. This is just in my backyard. Just taking you along for the water journey. I don't think I've ever actually showed y'all me out here watering before, the entire process. And this is, it's not a specific amount I'm doing. I just kind of do it by, I just have a kind of gauge in my head, kind of almost like a clock in my head that I use to determine how much I'm putting on each one. I already have an idea of what the soil is like underneath here. And when you're out in your garden every day, you know what your soil, and for me, I know what the mulch looks like, how dry it is, things like that whenever it's not moist underneath. Last night, wife and I were looking into watering, like irrigation systems, so I can just turn on basically the water faucet and we'll have like maybe PVC pipes or something like that that are over the plants in the bed with holes in it. And then it can just drip down on the plants and water them that way. So maybe installing something like that. Of course, you don't want to put a canopy over top of the bed so we can add some plastic and things like that for growing through the fall and winter. But if you do things step by step, you don't have the one big expense at one time. And you can take the time and, do it as you need it. But again, it starts with you taking action, taking that first step. Get something planted in the ground. Give it some water. Let it get some of the sunshine. It's going to be all sunshine today and 90 degrees. So I'm giving it the water now. It'll get plenty of sunshine throughout the day. And these things will probably be just grown a little bit more by the time I get home this afternoon. I'm getting my day started early. What are you doing? Are you asleep right now? Like I said, it's probably about to be 6 o'clock on the East Coast. Are you asleep or are you awake? I told you yesterday that dirt is in your yard 24/7. So you can work it in the dark. As you see, it's sun. It's starting to get light outside, but here, because I have this overhead cover, it's still dark. I have some lights out here that turn on behind me, as you can see. So there's no excuse. There's no time that you can't get out and work in your garden. I'm just out here watering, so this is nothing. But even if you needed to plant something, build something, whatever, you can do that in the dark. You can do it with a flashlight. You can do it with some porch lights or whatever you got. Just do it. That's what's important. That you actually take the action. Everything else is just talk. And talk is not going to feed your family. Start setting that clock a little bit earlier if you need to. Or stay up a little bit later. Do something during your lunch break. Whatever the case may be. Just make sure you're taking some action. That's going to benefit you and your family. Taking action is what's important. A whole bunch of talking ain't going to get it done. So as you see, this takes me a little bit. We've been out here recording just a little under 10 minutes. But it's all worth it. All I'm doing is adding some water. The sun, the food, all of that stuff is doing the thing on its own. All I'm doing is adding water. Because it didn't rain yesterday and it's going to get hot today. All I'm doing. It's not that much. So these, I just water it on top of the thing. The water drips through and gets down to the plants on the inside. They stay shaded all the time because I have the cover on it, so I just water the thing down and it drips down on them. Every once in a while I will lift it up and water the actual plants on the inside, but that works pretty well. I'll come back and water this at the end because now I got to go upstairs and water. So let's go upstairs. All right, upstairs we have our cabbage. Get these watered. And you see, since we're upstairs, we don't have any overhead cover, so you can see where we are in the morning in terms of the brightness of the day. Still morning, the sun hasn't really popped up yet. As I was saying earlier, the birds are really active, as you can hear. And this is a good time to get out in your garden, talk to your plants, water them before the sun comes up and starts evaporating the moisture away. Let it get down into the soil and get the soil nice and wet. Down to those roots. Do a little bit to our herbs. Our oregano and rosemary. And there's some carrots underneath there too. Over here, our parsley, our basil. Made a video last night preserving some of this basil. Feel free to go take a look at it. It's called frozen basil and olive oil. I saw an article about how to freeze basil to preserve it, so tried that last night. Give our tomato good water. We have a few that are probably going to be ready to come off this afternoon. One there, one up there. Another one in there starting to turn, so it'll be another day or two on that. But this tomato plant is starting to give us some mature ones. And we've treated these tomato plants with calcium treatments. So I've made a video about that in the past as well. Maybe something you need to look into if you're getting some issues with your tomato plants. There's different things out there you can use to treat them before you feel the need to cut them down or anything. Not all diseases or, little issues with plants are things that can't be cured with just a little treatment. You may have to get rid of a few limbs. You may have to cut off a couple pieces of bad fruit, but a lot of times you don't have to get rid of your entire plant. Of course, you need some flowers with some color, just for number one, beauty, but also to attract your pollinators. You need bees and hummingbirds and other little things like that to move the pollen around, and these types of flowers attract them. And you want them coming around even before your, zucchini and squash and things and cucumbers and stuff like that start to flower. So just be aware that you got to have multiple things in your garden. Because you need different things to pollinate with other things. If you had all the same species, it's just like if you think about animals, how purebred animals tend to have more genetic issues and things like that. It's the same thing with plants. If you have all of the same species all of the time, and there's never any kind of crossbreeding or anything like that, you'll find that it's easier for you to have invasive insects and diseases in your plants, just because it's all the same species of plant, and so it's easy for them to invade the whole area. So that was that's our morning watering. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Just wanted to let y'all see my watering process. Express how important it is to get out here in the morning early before the sun comes up and take care of your plants, talk to them, take a look at them, see if there's anything going on, give them that water, and they'll be good for the day. All right, good people, y'all make sure y'all get up, make something move, make sure you get something planted today. If you haven't planted already, it's been since Friday I've been asking you, plant something today. Let me know in the comments what you planted. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share the video. If you got some people that you think need to hear this message, share the video. We need to get this message out to everybody. Everybody needs to get something planted in the ground. We can all help and support each other when we're all growing our own gardens. Salute, good people.